طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات.
Okay, my name was originally Jason Thomas. I grew up, my mum's Jamaican and my dad was Haitian. Many of you might know Romeo from So Solid. He actually grew up in the same block as me, one floor below. So basically, how I became a Muslim, it's not very a religious story because I wasn't very religious before Islam, but what basically happened was this. I grew up as a lot of, young boys do on a council estate. Basically, you know how council estates are, they're painted in a grey, depressing grey, dull colour or red colour. My father, like a lot of unfortunate Caribbean fathers, he ran away, because obviously, in this day and age, the definition of a man is basically a guy, who's hench, got a nice car and goes around sleeping with different women, and if they get pregnant, then just basically, run away from them, So, anyway, my mum, she was left to bring me, my younger brother, and my younger sister up on her own, so she had to be the mother, and she had to be the father. So basically, she had to do two roles, She had to work and pay the bills, and so forth, and she also had to look after us. But because she had to have like two jobs, because I had a lack of a father around, she was hardly there. So basically I'm growing up watching TV, and I started to take liberties because every man needs a father, And what is that when your mum tries to raise you and she tries to discipline you, the way when your mother tells you not to do something and she looks at you is different to a boy when your father looks at you and tells you not to do something. You have more fear and you're more intimidated. So I knew as a young boy growing up that my mother, she loved me. And because I knew she loved me and I was the oldest, I started to take liberties. I never used to do anything around the house. I used to play my music loud. Whenever she would tell me to do something, I'd kiss my teeth, I'd slam the door in her face. She used to beat me when I was small, but as I got older, the beats didn't hurt and so forth, so I started taking more and more liberties because I knew that she loved me and that it would take a lot. In fact, I didn't actually believe that she would ever chuck me out because I knew she loved me. And because my father weren't there, what could she do apart from tell me off and beat me? And I got to the stage where that didn't hurt anymore. So there I was, very young, 13, 14, taking liberties at my mum's house, not doing anything around the house, shouting at her, being rude, and it was affecting my younger brother and sister because school, I wouldn't pay much attention to school, I would come in late, and I was messing up the runnings in the house. So anyway, my mum kept on telling me for years that, one day, I'm gonna kick you out. And I was like, yeah, and just slammed the door in her face. So, this went on for years and years and years and years. We actually got, after about 10 years, we got transferred to Wandsworth. And we moved from the estate in Battersea to our actual house, and it was a nicer area, and it was a nicer environment, but that had no avail on me. I was getting ruder because I was getting bigger, and I just started taking more and more liberties. So, one of the nights when my mum was crying as normally, tears coming out of her eyes, she was frowning and stuff, she'd aged a lot because of the stress I was putting her through and so forth, I went out, and I forgot my key in, as normal when I was coming back. So I come back, and I had a routine when I come back if I lost my key. And my routine was very simple. I would come to the front door, bang on the door about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then if my mum didn't come down and open the door, I would throw a stone up at my brother's window. And me and my brother, we had an unwritten contract. And that contract was, when I throw that stone up at the window, the longer it takes you to come and open that door, the longer the beating's gonna be in the morning when I catch you. So what happened that basically, my brother never come down, and I know he can hear it because the window is right by his bedroom. So I throw a next stone up there, start telling him what the beatings you're gonna get in the morning, Richard, it's gonna be over for you. So anyway, what happened is that my mum came out on the balcony, and she said, you see at the door, them 2 black bags, they got your belongings in it. I'm kicking you out, Jason. So I said, what? So I started kicking in the door, denting in the door and so forth. And my mum says, if you keep on doing that, I'm going to call the police. So anyway, you know, I was a disobedient child, and I had never been in trouble with the law at that stage or anything, because I was just an unruly kid who basically took advantage of my mum because I knew she loved me and my father weren't around. So anyway, my mum kicked me out. And from that day, I was homeless. And I don't mean homeless like go and stay at your auntie or your aunties or family members, because they told my mum to kick me out years ago. Yeah, because of my behaviour, but she handed until she just couldn't take it. So anyway, I was homeless, and I would stay at a friend's house here, and a friend's house there, and a friend's house there, and then what happened basically is that they kicked me out because their parents would say that, why don't you go home, what's wrong with you, and so forth. So anyway, I ended up basically living rough, yeah? I went down to like, what, 7, 6 stone. I was literally like, just, I was basically starving, and there would be times when I would lose consciousness and stuff on the street. So one day I was in like Balham, Clapham South, and I was just walking around, you know, trying to find somewhere to stay for the night. So anyway, there was an office, and it was like for young girls and teenage pregnancies and whatever, and I just walked in there. So I walked in there, and there was a lady in there, and I said, look, I need your help. I'm living on the streets, I ain't got nowhere to stay. If you don't help me find somewhere to stay, I'm gonna die out there. Give me a couple more days, yeah, or a week tops, yeah, I ain't gonna make it out there. I've got nothing to eat, nothing to drink, I've got nothing, yeah. So the woman says, look, I'm not equipped to deal with you. I deal with like pregnancy tests and young abortions and young single mothers and so forth. So I can't really help you. I said, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go outside, yeah, and die? And what do you want me to do? And so forth. And I was a bit aggressive. So the lady, she said, I'm gonna make some phone calls and I'm gonna try and help you. You know, but I can't promise anything. So after about 3 hours on the phone and so forth, she said, look, you have an interview, you know, in 2 weeks with this housing association. Maybe they can find you a hostel, maybe they can't help you, I don't know, but this is the best I could do. I've tried. So I've left there, not being happy, not being sad, just blank mind. So anyway, alhamdulillah, you know, I didn't say alhamdulillah at that time, you know what I'm saying, but I made it through to the 2 weeks to the interview. And I don't even remember much about the interview. I just remember there was a woman, a man, and at the end of the interview, a key was put in my hand. And I was given a room. And I didn't say subhanallah or mashallah or anything. I was just happy because I actually had a roof to stay over my head, like a home to go to, a place to stay and actually be safe, or to be sheltered from the rain and the cold and everything. But this was the worst. Well, I can't say it's the worst thing because alhamdulillah, it led to me becoming Muslim. But it was the worst thing for me as a youth because I was given freedom. I mean freedom. And I had freedom before, but I had that old excuse me, bag on my case, like always in my ears, always on my case, but I never had none of that. I could eat what I want, I could drink what I want, I could bring round who I want, I could chat to who I want, I could say what I had total freedom and I had my own place. So, this was like the second stage of my life. I'm around 16 or 17 now, I've got my own place and I start hanging around with this guy that was in my class from secondary school. And then what happened, he used to hang out in an estate in Wandsworth called Henry Prince, another council estate, a bit like Battersea, and so forth. And this opened me up to a whole new world. So my days used to start off, I used to wake up basically in the morning, and used to go and link this guy, and then what used to happen is I used to see guys older than me. And it was strange, because these guys, they just had a movie life, convertibles, motorbikes, you know what I'm saying, big gold around their necks and around their wrists and this and that, and they did not go to school, they did not have any GCSEs, they did not go uni, and they were allergic to the word work. And I was just wondering, how do you you guys have the cars, have the motorbikes, you know, as they pull up to the race, have the gold, all these things, and you don't, like, you have no hardship in your life. Like, how do you just get this stuff? You see what I'm saying, and so forth. So obviously I'm hanging around and I'm curious, and I'm wondering, how do these guys, I'm there obviously 16, 17 and so forth, and these guys are in like their early 20s, 25, and some of them were like their late 20s and stuff, and I'm just thinking, this is who I want to be. If in life, these guys is what I want to be like. So obviously after a few weeks of hanging around with them, I asked them, how do you guys get your money and how do you get your stuff? So they said, we're going to show you, yeah, but first we're going to go and, you know, get some drink and some snacks and stuff. So what happens, I'm walking with them. So we go into a shop and they pick up a polo and they pick up like a Coke or something. And basically they give £1 to the shopkeeper. And then the shopkeeper obviously takes the money and goes to give them the change, and he presses the button to open the till, and they hit him in the face. And they start punching him up and stepping on his head, and just basically dragging him all over the place, about 6 guys, and just throwing him all over the place. And then what they do is, they take the 2 trays out of the till. One's got, on top, has got coins, and the one on top has got coins, and the one underneath had notes. And then they will go to the next shop, polo, Coke. You know what I'm saying? Man press the till, punch him in his face, step on his head, knock him over, and just do it all day. And then what they would do is they would do things like they would go down to Western's, Selfridges and all these other places, and then they would go dressed all smartly and stuff in the latest clothes like Versace and Valentino and all this off-key Machino and all this other stuff. And basically they would go to different shops, and what they do is that they say to the person that they want to try something on. So they go into the changing room. They would have 2 pairs of trousers. The person thinks they got one. They would take off their bottom trousers, put one of the pairs of trousers on, put their own trousers on top of the other, and then come out with one in their hand and say, sorry, it doesn't fit. And they would do that all around West End, Kings Road, and then go Chelsea, Kings Road, and they would do this all day. And then they would come back and sell it to people and this, that, and the other. So they had many different ways of making money. So I'm dazzled by this. 16, 17, hostel, start linking them guys, you know what I'm saying? We start on the weekend, going to race, the latest clothes and everything, gold, this, that and the other, nice cars, this, that and the other, and we have a little reputation. But anyone who does crime consistently, you have to go jail. It's just an occupational hazard. If you do crime, yeah, continuously, a violent crime, yeah, then sooner or later you have to go jail. And that was the motto of the older guys that I was hanging around with. Either I am going to be on jail with the latest, with a nice car, a motorbike, nice clothes, or I will be in jail. That's my life. That's you know, as Muslims we say, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That Allah did not create mankind and jinn except to worship Him. So working is a part of life. You know, looking nice is a part of life. You know, having relationships is a part of life. But the main thing is worshiping Allah, and everything else fits around that. But our thing, you know what I'm saying, as Puff Daddy said, is money, something else, and something else. All this brother knows. Basically, clothes, girls, and money. That's our motto for life. And if that means that I gotta go in jail every now and then it's okay. Because it's worth me doing that, yeah, to pull outside the club with the latest clothes, to get the girls because they want you for your car and this, that, and that. It doesn't matter, it's worth it. So anyway, for the next few years of my life, I started basically, you know, this is how it goes. You get in trouble with the police at first and they give you conditional discharge. Nothing, just a piece of paper saying keep out of trouble, blah, blah, blah. Then you keep on getting trouble, you know what I'm saying? You see the policemen again, you know, you go police station, you got probation, they sit you down. Why are you doing these crimes? What's wrong with you? Why do you like to hurt people? What's going on in your head? And you sit down with a counsellor and so forth. After that, then you get community service. You know, paint a fence, build this up, build that up and so forth. And then after a long time of keep on going probation and community service, you end up going to jail. So basically, I'm living this life, you know, and I end up going to jail, you know, for basically one of these robberies. They give you bail. When the first time you go to jail, they give you the benefit of the doubt and they let you out of jail to see if you'll be a good boy, you know, and so forth. So they let me out of jail and I robbed another thing we used to do, we used to follow businessmen back from the city. and when they used to get off the train, yeah, and they go towards their house, we used to rob them. So while I was on bail for this robbery shop, yeah, I robbed a businessman, and I went back to jail. So they said to me, okay, now you're not getting bail, you're not getting anything, you're just staying in jail until you go for trial. And this is where Islam comes. Now, I was in a jail a long time before I actually got convicted. Why? Because the guy, may Allah forgive us, but the guy that we attacked in the shop, every time he was supposed to come to court, he had like heart problems, so he would have to go to hospital, and then it would get sent, put back and put back and put back and put back until I was in jail for about a year. What I didn't tell you is that one day when I was in my mum's house, as normal, not doing anything, flicking through the channels, my cousin came round. Now my cousin's name was Warren. He was a boxer, but he was also a fireman. And he'd been in America a few times for his boxing and so forth. So he come round, and he looked a bit different, because he came round, and I noticed he's got a beard, he's wearing a little gown, you know, and he just got a different sense about him. He was always a mature person, but he just had a different sense about him. So, like, he comes round, I'm just flicking through the channels and so forth, you know, and I say, like, Warren, like, what's up with you? You seem a bit changed, you seem a bit different. So he said he's become a Muslim. So like, now I'm staring at him, yeah, and I'm just thinking, okay, my cousin Warren, he's a very smart guy, you know, he's someone I look up to, I respect, yeah, but he's a black Jamaican, yeah, and he's got darker skin than me, and I was thinking, like, Warren, how are you going to pretend to be an Asian, yeah, when, like, you got black skin? Because I never knew what a Muslim was. I thought a Muslim was a race. So he's come there, he's got a beard, he's wearing a little gown and stuff like that. He said he'd become a Muslim. So I'm just thinking to myself, how is he going to pretend to be an Asian? Like, is he going to paint his skin? Is he like, what's he going to do? So he says to me that he's a Muslim and so forth. So I start like, okay, so what's different about you? What's with the clothes and the bed and stuff like? What's that mean? So he says, okay, I'm a Muslim, and the difference between Muslim and every other religion is that we're the only ones that worship God. So I said, no, in my head I'm thinking, no, that don't make sense, because I'm Christian and I worship God. He said, we're Muslims, and we're the only and Muslims are the only ones to worship God. He said, see our Christian family, they're all Christians. They don't worship God, they worship Jesus. So I'm thinking in my head, no, we're Christians and we worship Jesus. What are you talking about? So I shared my feelings with him, and he said, nah, Jason, you see our Jamaican families, they don't worship God, they worship Jesus. I said, no, they don't. And he said, okay, look into every religion. Don't believe me, don't believe what I'm saying, check it out. I'm just telling you, if you take the time to look into every other religion apart from Muslims and Islam, yeah, you'll find that they say they believe in God, they say that they worship God, and that God is perfect and He knows everything and He sees everything. But if you just take a short time to check it out, you'll see that every single religion, apart from Islam, they worship a man or a statue or an animal, or if they don't do that, they will give God Almighty human attributes, like getting hungry, getting tired, getting thirsty. So there I am on a council estate, you know what I'm saying, flicking through the channels on TV, and then my cousin's telling me this, and I'm saying to him, no, because I say, so wait a minute, what do our family do? Because I don't worship no man. So he says, speak to your mum, speak to your family, and ask them. So now I go to my mum, because I'm pretty upset now, because my cousin just told me that what I believe is wrong, even though he was like nice about it and everything. So I go to my mum, and I go to my mum, Mum, we're Christians, yeah? We believe that Jesus, Moses, and Noah, and all these other guys were just cool guys that came and they told us to worship God, ain't it? So my mum looks at me, yeah, and I know when people lie or try and twist around things, because I was pretty good at it at that time. So my mum goes to me, no, son, what you have to understand, Jason, is that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, all three of them are God, but just at different times. So basically, she was telling me that Jesus is God. So even though I was just a guy who was rude to my mother, living on a council estate, listening to my Tupac and Biggie, this, that, and the other, I knew this was false. Yeah, because I remember times when we used to read in school and stuff like that Jesus, you know, used to pray to God when the Jews were, when people were coming to kill him. And I remember specifically that one time he got upset with the, according to the Bible, he got upset with the companions, or the disciples, because while he was praying, they kept on falling asleep, and they were supposed to be on guard and looking out for him. So I was upset because I was thinking, wait a minute, if Jesus is God, and he's praying and he's telling his companions, yeah, to look out for him, then who is he praying to? Yeah? And also we had these plays at school that, you know, that Jesus every Christmas, that Jesus was a little baby and so forth, and that Mary gave birth to him, and that obviously that she never had a husband and so forth. And I was thinking, wait a minute, Jesus, this little baby, yeah, that wets himself, proves himself and so forth, and Mary looked after, that's God Almighty. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, if Jesus was a little boy, he obviously used to play about and stuff, yeah? Obviously he used to go out and play, so what? He used, like Mary should say to God, make sure you come in at 6 o'clock and all this other stuff. So I, as a basic guy, I always believed in God, and when my cousin told me that my family actually believed that Jesus is God, it just didn't make sense to me. So that second, when my cousin came round, yeah, I stopped being a Christian when I verified that thing with my mum. But I didn't think, okay, I'm going to become a Muslim and so forth. After that, I just carried on being rude to my mum. She kicked me out. I got in the hospital. I started hanging out with these guys, robbing and so forth. But I always believed in God. I always believed in paradise. I always believed in hellfire. And I always believed in a day of judgment and that God wasn't a man, an animal, a statue, or any of these things. But I just didn't see how it was relevant to me. So anyway, the point was this, yeah? After reading the Bible and the Quran, yeah, and basically studying the concept of God in the Quran, and as Allah says in the Quran, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad." Say that God is one. He's the absolute. He's the eternal. He doesn't give birth, and he wasn't born, and there's nothing comparable to him. God don't eat, he don't sleep, he don't get hungry, he don't get tired. This is the God that every single human being, I don't care what they're Hindu, Sikh, whatever, every single human being in their heart, yeah, believes in this God. Yeah? And I matched as soon as, my cousin, from when he started speaking to me, from the first 5 minutes, I knew what he was saying the truth. I knew that he was saying the truth. I just had distractions. So when I was in jail, I read the Quran, I read the Bible, and I came to the conclusions, the truth, and then basically, my cousin was always living in a Muslim country, either Yemen or Morocco, and going back and forth. So anyway, when I came out of jail, because I didn't know I had to take Shahada, I came out of jail. When my cousin came back, I looked for him, I said I wanted to become Shahada, and I took my Shahada, and then basically, Hamza, from then, you know, I basically have left my friends, I've got married, I have 2 children, Firdaus and Jenna, and basically I go around speaking to people about Islam. And I would just say to you, if it weren't, you know, you can always find people with nice stories. You can go to Christians and Sikhs and this, that and the other, and you can find all these beautiful stories. My life was messed up, my life, you know, I was on drugs, I was on this, that and that. And then I became Sikh, Hindu or whatever, and basically my life is better now. Yeah, but there's one problem with that. You are still either worshipping a man, a statue or animal, or you are saying, yeah, that, what is it, God has human attributes. Whatever religion you give me. For example, the Jews don't believe God become a man, but they say God created the world, yeah, in 6 days, and then he rested. Yeah, now, if you're a human being, and you have a long day at uni or work or this, that, you might have to rest. But the creator of the sun, the moon, the stars, the skies, and everything else, he doesn't get tired. You know, also in the Bible, if you ask her, you have to be directed, you have to be quite smart about it. If you ask a Jewish person, ask them, Jacob the prophet, who named him Israel? They will tell you God named him Israel. But ask them, why did God name Jacob Israel? And the knowledgeable ones, they will tell you that the reason why Jacob was named Israel was because God and Jacob were supposed to have a wrestling match. And basically Jacob beat God, yeah, and God said to Jacob, let me go, let me go. So Jacob let go of God Almighty, and then God Almighty said to Jacob, now you've fought with man and one, and you've fought with God and one, I will name you Israel. Yeah? You also have other things in the Bible, like how can I say, like Noah and God, the story of Noah and God. It says that God got uncontrollably angry and he flooded the whole of the world when he only meant to flood a small part of the world. And what God said he will do, he said he will put a rainbow in the sky. So when his anger gets hot like wax with mankind, like when mankind disobey him, he will look at the rainbow, and because he has seen the rainbow, it will remind him to basically to be calm and so forth. So there's lots of stories like this in the Bible and so forth. So basically what it is that there's lots of people who hear about Islam. And I would say, like, most of my friends from the street or road, I've explained to them about this. And they all believe in the concept of God and Tawheed and stuff like that. They understand it. That's not the problem with them. The question with them is they know that they're like, I don't want to become a Muslim because if I become a Muslim, I know that you're not supposed to have a girlfriend, you're not supposed to promote weed and this, that and the other. So I don't want to be a Muslim and be a hypocrite. That's what 9 out of 10 of them say. But the thing is this, you're being a hypocrite anyway. Because you think because you don't become Muslim because that stuff don't apply to you, then you're okay. No, because the fact that you know it's the truth and you ain't following it, that proves you're being hypocritical anyway. So the whole thing is at the end of the day, alhamdulillah that, you know, I was guided to this deen, and if Allah didn't save me, I don't know where I'd be, because the other day, let me just give you 3 cases. 3 cases how this dunya will tear you up, and in my talk to you lot, inshallah, I will try and focus on it more. 3 of my friends, yeah, because people ain't born evil, but due to environment and music and just growing up in the West, you're gonna find yourself in some situations. For example, one of my friends, he was living a high life. Recently, I found out he died. How did he die? What he was doing, he was going over to Jamaica, swallowing drugs and coming back and forth. And he'd been doing it for quite long. And, you know, for a very young guy, you see his car and this, that and the other and so forth, and you think he's living a fat life. But look how this guy died, man. He was coming back from Jamaica one time, and he got back to England. The drugs, they busted inside of him. Yeah? He was dying on the road, and a woman came to help him, and he said, no, leave me alone. And he died on the road like some bum. Why? Because he goes to the hospital, and they check him, he's gonna do some years. So yeah, for quite a few years, you see this young guy, really, really young face, driving a big car and this, that and the other, and so forth, and you think he's got a fat life, but the guy died like a dog on the wayside, yeah? And the whole thing, because he fed off going to prison, you know? And next guy I know, like the person I used to look up to most, his brother, I used to hang around with him when we were tired. He's doing 40 years now in jail. Why? He went to a club, some guy was looking to him, he had an argument. When the guy came outside, he stabbed him. He was 35 or something when he was out on road and so forth. So he's not coming out to his old and so forth. Were these guys evil? Were they sick? Were they, you know, were they just evil? No. But when you live a life of following music and so forth and all these things, yeah, this is what happens. So basically what I do is I take my bad experience and I basically go around speaking to different people, you know what I'm saying, non-Muslims, Muslims, about, you know, Islam and why it's the truth and why people should become Muslims and so forth. And inshallah, basically, I hope you ain't heard my story before, I hope I didn't bore you, but that's my story, why I became Muslim and why I'm glad I became a Muslim, inshallah.